I ended up doing a lot of different types of dancing in my late teens and early 20s. And then in 1988, I went to a Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the music. I just fell in love with all types of music that I hadn't really been aware of. We've actually modeled the Gator by the Bay after Jazz Fest, principally.
Okay.
Multiple stages, a whole host of variety of musics, but it was really inspired by the Cajun and the Zydeco music of Southern Louisiana. That's where it all started.
This is Festival Pass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next. All right, friends, welcome back to the Festival Pass Stories podcast. We are, of course, produced by Jonah Wright and Challenger Road Media and presented by Dos Hombres, the artisanal mezcal meant to be shared. Created by Aaron Paul and Brian Cranston. Have a drink with us at doshombres.com/delivery. And hey, have you ever wanted to have that opportunity to invest in product early that could be the next Airbnb? I see my guest. He's like, the eyebrow just raised there, like The Rock. He's very excited. And he wants to know why entrepreneurs and celebrities with exits approaching 10 billion, why they've already invested in Festival Pass. So you can just go to Festival Pass. In fact, you can go to festivalpass.com or go to invest.festivalpass.com to learn more. And festival friends, when I think about the bayou, only one place comes to mind: San Diego. Yes, of course, obviously, right? Yeah. Now that's because today my guest is the gentleman who is the producer of the Bayou by the Bay. Yes, Bayou to San Diego. He brought it cross country for those, who can't get to the Bayou itself during Mardi Gras. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gator by the Bay producer, Peter Oliver. Peter, what's happening?
Laissez les bon temps rouler.
Bless you.
That's the way we say it.
That was Cajun. So we don't have subtitles. We are on video and audio here, but we're going to have to start doing subtitles if you're going to be speaking Creole to me now.
No. That means, of course, let the good times roll.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was in New Orleans for Jazz Fest, and I think it was 1988. And I walked into this club, and there was this band called Filet. And they were up on a stage, and this guy had this accordion, right? It was a little box accordion, triple row, and he was just playing his heart out, and I just stopped. I froze. I said, "Oh my God, I found it!" And I didn't even know I was looking for it, and I found it. And so I've been in love with the Cajun music and Zydeco ever since. So
wow. And maybe that'll happen for Bono one day, because he still hasn't found what he's looking for. Maybe one day it'll just appear and he'll say, "That's it. That's the thing. Like, geez, I wasn't even looking for that, but I got it. I got it. Yeah. It'll be just like that. I think I just made Bono like one of the Beatles there with that kind of like a Liverpool accent there. So
yeah, I think he should come to the festival, right?
Yeah. No, I think he would. I think Bono. Look, there's going to be. We're going to get into the music because there's so much to this and the amount of acts that I saw. But I think if we could probably squeeze in U2 if we needed to, right? Even though there's already all these great acts signed up.
I'm afraid I'd have to put him on a smaller stage, though. Because
we can put him. Yeah, the side stage, B, etc. Yeah. All right. So look, man, I love this idea. My favorite part about it is that we get 2 Mardi Gras in the spring, right? Because yours is in May. Yours is not, it's not competing with Mardi Gras. It is, in fact, almost like you're a quarter of the way to the next Mardi Gras. So get ready for it. Let me think about this, because I love taking some road trips. And, in fact, the founder of Festival Pass and we drove from New York to Austin during the pandemic when he was moving down there in his Jeep. It was very exciting. So maybe we could do this again. So I could start my Mardi Gras, if that is a term, in New Orleans in March, the beginning of March, and then I could sort of Mardi Gras my way, if that's a verb, but I can Mardi Gras my way across the country and then get to San Diego by May. In fact, I could probably just hire New Orleans big brass jazz band, and we could just march across the country. What do you think about that?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you could bicycle across in that amount of time.
Yeah, stopping at all of the New Orleans style joints along the way.
All the road shows and all the all the cafes and truck stops. Yeah. I'm sure they have some Cajun music on the jukebox in those places too.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do love what this is all about. Mardi Gras in May, Mardi Gras on the West Coast. Now, how did this idea come about? How did you get inspired to make this happen?
Well, I mean, it started way back in 1988. Like, I've been a dancer pretty much all my life since I was a small person, and I learned how to dance in front of the television, like with this thing called the Lloyd Thaxton Show. It was like American Bandstand. Okay, I believe it was a local Washington, D.C. TV show. I mean, I don't know where it came from. Hell, I was only in the third grade, whatever.
And that's where you're from. You grew up in the greater D.C. area. Okay.
Yeah. Right in the middle of the city. So yeah, it was great. So anyway, I ended up doing a lot of different types of dancing in my late teens and early 20s. And then in 1988, I went to Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the music. I just fell in love with all types of music that I hadn't really been aware of.
Yeah.
And so to zoom fast forward, we've actually modeled the Gator by the Bay after Jazz Fest principally. Okay. Multiple stages, a whole host of variety of musics. But it was really inspired by the Cajun and the Zydeco music of Southern Louisiana. That's where it all started.
It's amazing. So you never grew up with this. You never really were exposed to this, and it just sort of, you were going down there for the jazz. You were going down there for some fun, right. And this pops up out of nowhere.
That's right. Being completely ignorant to this kind of music. Seriously, I'd never even seen an accordion. So, I mean, I don't even know how this happened to me. But I walked into this bar, 1988, the Thursday before Jazz Fest. And I walked into the Maple Leaf Bar on Oak Street, believe it or not. And here this band, Philae, was playing. And the guy had an accordion. And I couldn't believe it. It was like I found it, didn't even know I was looking for it. And but I did find it, and it just struck me. It hit me. And actually, as a side note, I have heard that same story from a whole lot of different people.
Really?
Yeah. They just, when they hear the music the very first time, they know that it's good. They know that they need to hear more of it. I presume that many types of music are the same way for a whole variety of people, but this is particular the genre that hit. So I've been promoting it, pushing it ever since. So we started this club called the Bon Ton Social Club, the Good Time Social Club, here in San Diego in 1992. And we've had regular dances other than the pandemic for I think close to 30 years now.
Amazing.
So,
And then what year did this festival start, the Gator by the Bay? When did you guys bring this together?
Our first year was 2001 in October. And unfortunately, it was like 30 days after, 2 months after 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that was our first out the door. So we said, well, should we cancel or should we go on? And we thought about it for a little bit. This is our first one, and we said, no, hell no, we're not letting those people do that to us. Well, we're proceeding, and we got 2,000 people the first year.
2,000
that came from across the country. It's crazy, huh? Yeah.
And I think at that time, people were looking for something else to think about. Nice little escape for a couple of days.
That's right.
So why don't we just get right into the music? Because there are 3 big parts of this. There's the music, there's the food, and the dance, as you said as well. There's something you've been doing your whole life. But I saw something like 48 or so music acts already signed up into the lineup. And I hear there's going to be essentially like 100 performers going to be there. Grammy winners, etc. How do you fit all that in over 4 days?
Well, we have 7 stages.
Okay.
And it's the park that we do this in is right on the water, right? So that's why we call it Gator by the Bay. We certainly can't move to the desert because we're Gator by the Bay.
Yeah.
So right on the water, right across the street from the airport. And so it's like you could fall out of the airplane right into the festival. That's how close everything is.
Yeah.
And so we have, and also it's 4 days. So our event starts on Thursday and ends on Sunday night. 7 stages, 5 of which have dance floors. And we have 2 main stages with, I think, 3,500 square feet of dance floor. And of course, you don't have to dance. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. This is
why would you let that? Why would you skip that part of the program?
Well, we have a no-fault dance policy, right? So it's impossible.
I have that card. No, I carry that card around with me all the time. The no fault dance. I'm like, sorry, I have it right here. Right?
No, it's true. And we invoke that policy. No, you can't do it wrong. You never have to say you're sorry when you're on the dance floor, ever. So it's funny. Anyway, and we do try to provide a big variety of music, much the way that Jazz Fest does. So we have Zydeco, we have Cajun, we have blues, we have country, we have salsa, and we have some eclectic music. And then we have this little stage called the Bayou Grove. And on that, we bring in smaller acts, but it's primarily, it's like the back porch stage at a lot of different folk festivals in which there's a lot of education offered. And I'm telling you, that's probably one of the most packed stages we have. It's packed to the gills. No more, you can't sit anywhere because everybody's standing up and gawking. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, I've got Alice Wallace coming in, and she's going to be doing a yodeling show.
Oh,
it's just all kinds of eclectic stuff happening.
Is there some kind of yodeling contest that, because I know you've got a couple of contests that happen. There's, we'll get to one of them there in a second when we get to the food. But is there any kind of music awards that you give out or anything? Or is there like the yodeler of the year? They get to come back next year and defend their yodeling title?
No, we're pretty much non-competitive. I mean, like for instance, Alice will invite people up to practice yodeling.
Yeah.
I mean, so she'll be there, and then she'll invite 5 or 6 people up, and they can all try it in front of everybody. It's really great.
You have one of those dance cards for the yodelers as well. It's like, no, it's you don't have to apologize for your yodeling. It's just get up there and do it.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, but you said we're non-competitive, meaning that you're not having all these crazy competitions going on. But you are competitive with other festivals in the Bay Area. Is there anything else during that time that can even stand up to what you guys are putting on?
Well, I'd like to say no. And as a matter of fact, I actually believe that there's really we in California, we're basically the first festival out to shoot for the year, and then all the other festivals follow us, in June, July, August, and September and whatnot. Like for instance, there's a big festival, the Portland Waterfront Blues Festival. That's July 4th. That's a pretty big event too. And actually, when we first started the festival in 2001, another festival up in San Rafael had ceased to exist. So we took that date. And then another festival, that was in October. The first 2 years were in October. And then another festival in Fort Lauderdale, they stopped, and we took that. That was Mother's Day weekend. And we took that weekend. So we're still standing. And we're not.
And that's your weekend. It's all about doing something great for mom. And there's nothing nothing mom wants to do more than dance with no consequences. So like, let's get mom out and show her a good time. Now you keep mentioning this music, Zydeco. I'm not that familiar with that. And obviously at one point you weren't, and then it really changed your life. So what is the difference between Zydeco music and your blues and jazz and the other things that you would normally get at a festival like this?
Okay, well, there's the difference between Cajun and Zydeco.
Yeah.
And Cajun music is basically the Cajuns came down from Canada back in the 1700s, and they made it they what do you call it? They emigrated down the coast around the Florida and ended up in the bayous of
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they speak French to a great degree. Where and most of them were came from France, so they were primarily white folks. And then the Zydeco basically originated, I think, in Africa and the Caribbean, and they immigrated also to South Louisiana. And so there was this mix, this complete and total mix of music, culture, and food. And to a great degree, it all stuck. It really did stick. And so Cajun music tends to have a fiddle, and a lot of times it'll have a triangle, the metal
Mm-hmm.
triangle, and it generally speaking always has an accordion, and it's oftentimes played in um, acoustic. Oftentimes, that's where they get the thing called the fado do, which means put the kids to sleep. And so in the dance halls and in the kitchens of Louisiana, they would get together and sit around in the kitchen and just play music. It was great, and they still do it to this very
Yeah.
day. Zydeco tends to be more electrified, and it has the scrub board,
Okay.
and yeah,
That I
and
know.
it's
Yeah.
the
All right.
accordion that they use is tends to be the chromatic, the keyboard accordion, versus the diatonic, which is the button accordion that the Cajuns tend to use, more or less. I mean, come on, there's a big mix up now. There, there's so much crossover, it's crazy, but it's good. But and they do have distinctive sounds too. I will say that.
It's amazing. So the food, there's the music, of course, and then the dance, as we covered, goes right along with that. And then
Right.
there's the third element, which is
Yeah.
my favorite element, the food. And there is actually a gumbo contest, right, over the couple of days. So there is that.
That
That's pretty competitive right there. I imagine people are bringing their best, and you got
yeah.
people traveling in for that as well to show that the best
Right.
gumbo comes from here or there.
Right. Well, 2019 was our first gumbo contest. And so then now we lost 2 years. So this will
Yeah.
be our second annual, if you will, gumbo contest. The first one, actually, we had 7 entries, and we had 3 judges, two of which, let's see, oh, all 3 of them had Louisiana roots. And I think we had 2 local chefs that
Oh, okay.
that were that cooked Louisiana food in San Diego. So, it was really good. Actually, it was really well attended considering the fact that it rained. And
Ah,
so we're gonna pick it up again this year. Well, and we have that on Friday morning, generally speaking.
now, what is the strategy? Because if I'm there for a couple of days, sometimes people can go a little too hard day one, and then day 2 and 3 and 4 that they're not ready. So when it comes to the food, right, you don't want to fill up and then dance, right? Because you don't want to cramp up. Or is the strategy that you want to fill up, dance it off, and then fill up again? Because you're talking
Yeah,
about 10. Yeah, that might be
I
it,
like where
right?
you're going with that. That's good. That's really good. Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have
Go
eaten
ahead.
before this. Now I'm getting hungry. But so 10,000 pounds of crawfish, is this correct?
Absolutely. Yep. Mitch Olivier from Opelousas, Louisiana. He puts it in the back of his truck and brings it over. It's a refrigerated truck. He has a yeah,
It's good to
he has a
know.
crawfish farm. And so what he
Okay.
does, yeah, he these are all his babies. And so yeah, we he brings them across. He sets up this huge boiling pot, and it's much easier to actually eat them than it is to talk about them because they they pour them in this hot water and whatnot. But anyway, they're very tasty, and he has his own special oil, which is what they call the powdered mix, the spices. So
Uh-huh.
he created his own boil, and
Oh,
it has proved very, very popular. And I think we've had Mitch, I put it maybe for 18 years.
wow.
So yeah,
It's an annual pilgrimage for him to get out to San
you know,
Diego. And
it really is, and it's an opportunity for him to get out of Louisiana, for a week. So
yeah, I would say, what does 10,000 pounds of crawfish look like? But you're like, well, Pat, it looks like 10,000 pounds of crawfish is what it looks like. Yeah, it's
no,
a lot. It's huge.
imagine a 50-pound bag of crawfish, like it's like
Yeah.
you could pick it up with one hand, but it's 50 pounds. That's a lot. Anyway, imagine I don't know what's 50 times divided by 10,000. It's the back of a huge U-Haul truck,
Yeah.
refrigerated truck. It's a big box truck, and he sits and parks it. He parks it on the grass, and then keep pulling bags of crawfish out for days. Yeah,
Just
great,
200 massive bags of crawfish just over the shoulder
good.
coming in. And that's just, yeah. All right. All right. So I'm sold. I think I might be there, but I said there's really three elements to this, but I'm missing a big one. And that would be the drinks, right? I mean, you can't do Mardi Gras style fest without a signature drink. And I know that in New Orleans, a signature drink would be the Hurricane.
Hurricane,
Is
yeah.
there a special signature drink for you guys? Is there some sort of like sangria or something like that you have for the Gator Festival?
No, but I like your idea. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, we have the standard. We have a whole variety of beers, and Anheuser-Busch tends to be our our go-to, and then we also get craft beers. And it's not this is not really a craft beer festival. And so here, this is the
Yeah.
way I like to say it. Some festivals in San Diego and around the world are alcohol events that happen to have music. Well, we tend to be a music festival that happens to have alcohol.
It's an
So
afterthought, but not really.
no, but exactly, not really, because I mean, we have wine, we have beer, we really don't have spirits because of the nature of our particular liquor license.
Yeah.
Because actually, and to some degree, really, we don't really want it. I understand that your hosts are that. So
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to poo hard alcohol, but we have now in San Diego. It's really quite unusual that we actually have a walk around beer and wine license because one, we've been doing this for 20 years and have never ever had a problem with anybody being drunk and disorderly.
that's incredible.
That's a feather in our hat.
Yeah.
And so they don't we're not forced to have what do you call it, beer gardens.
Okay.
There's many festivals in San Diego. And so it's like we're really, really proud of ourselves that we have been able to maintain that and by being good citizens and not having any problems ever.
Yeah.
So
Well, friends, look, this is where the adults are hanging. If you're looking for the responsible adults,
and
I think we found them. I think
it's true. And
we
it's also a big family event as well. A
yeah.
lot of
I was going to
kids.
say that
Yeah.
the whole thing is really billed as a family friendly environment over those 4 days. I mean, it's happening over Mother's Day, so you don't want to
Right.
misbehave on Mother's Day. That would not be the day to do it.
Or the day before, or the
Yeah,
day
right.
before that. Yeah.
Yeah. How could you do that on Mother's Day?
Oh,
Come on.
wow. Terrible. Yeah.
But you did, but we'll stick with the beer. Another one of my favorite things out there, just after the food. But you need something to wash down that 10,000 pounds of crawfish with. So when you mentioned Anheuser-Busch, I also saw that Kona is one of your sponsors. And I want to talk about the sponsors here for a second because I see that Louisiana Tourism, is a sponsor of Mardi Gras in San Diego. I love that. They love your extension of the brand. It's clear.
Right. Well, right. And yeah, we've been partnered with the city of Lafayette and the state of Louisiana now for gee whiz, maybe going on 10 years. And yeah, they're very, very they encourage us a lot. And we actually uh well we have a fabulous relationship with them. And sometimes they'll, depending on the situation of the year, they'll send a crew out, and they'll have a booth, and then we pass out material promoting Louisiana and the state, of course, and also the city of Lafayette. And and sometimes we do have a contest. Actually, we do have a contest, and the contest is you put your name down, and you have a chance to win a trip to Louisiana.
Ooh, very nice.
So, which we partner with. Mostly, it's the city of Lafayette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And it's
yeah.
Everyone is, if you buy a ticket to the festival, you essentially get entered into this, or is it
Yes.
Is it more than that?
Yeah. Right. When you buy a ticket, your ticket is your entry.
Now, I know that we're just going back to some music. I'm thinking about all these great things that are happening over these 4 days. Is there a moment from the music? I mean, because I know you got Grammy winners that are going to be there. Is there a moment, or was there, something where something stood out to you? Not like that, shining light moment that you had in New Orleans the first time years ago, but was there a moment where you were like, years later, man, that was just this moment in time that we'll never be able to replicate again from one of those music stages?
The big moments for me historically have been the mashups that we do. So basically,
what are the mashups?
We've been very successful we invite an artist to play, and then another artist who's also playing on another stage comes up and plays with that artist. So we have different different genres necessarily. Yeah. Like, for instance, Chubby Carrier was playing last couple of years ago, and he invited Ben Rice up to play with him. Now, Ben Rice is a blues guy, but so the two of them made this incredible sound together that you would never guess that could have happened. And so these are the kind of things that actually happen quite frequently at Gator by the Bay. So, and I really do work hard to create a mashup or two whenever possible. And so those are the kind of moments where I'm dancing, I'll stop dancing and sit there and watch this. That's hard. That's rare. When I stop dancing to watch the music, that's good.
Yeah. You can get Peter to stop dancing for a minute. This is a big moment. That's fantastic. So these are kind of curated. Some of them are spur of the moment, but this is the stuff that people are checking out new festivals for. I mean, there's of course that pent up demand to get back out there and see it, but people want to hear about this kind of stuff. So it's not only just, this lineup on stage. It's like, you might see this blues guy with this jazz guy. You might see this jazz person with this, Zydeco, performer on the, on the board. Yeah. Doing that. I mean, it's exciting. So it's kind of like, here's what we have in store for you on the website. But when you get here, you're in for some serious surprises, especially from the music side of things.
Oh, and absolutely true. Here, just for instance, too, if you come to the festival and you're there on Saturday or Sunday, this is what you can expect. You can walk from one end all the way to the other. And as you're walking, you keep hearing all of these sounds, these different sounds, just different style of music at each stage. Each stage is not competing with the other stage. But as soon as you walk out of earshot of one stage, then you walk into the earshot of another stage. And then in the middle of the day, on both days, we have a 20-horn section parade from one end to the other.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I get to lead the parade. I put on my tuxedo and my top hat.
Yes.
I got tails, and I have a big sash. And I carry the umbrella, and I lead the parade. It's great.
When the Saints come marching across the field, folks. And
exactly.
Is there a name for that? Is there a name for that parade?
Well, yeah, it's generally speaking, those are called second line parades.
Okay.
The you've heard the phrase second line parade or second
Yes.
line. Okay. So I'll tell you what it is. If you already if you know, well, this is for the audience too.
For the
So
audience.
the second line parade is basically in New Orleans in particular, when a person of stature passes away, the family has a parade. The family and close friends have a parade. The second line is the people who are standing around on the street joining in. They become the second line, and that's how the parade actually got started at Gator by the Bay. We were doing a parade, and we just rephrased it the second line parade because at that point nobody had passed away. But we do have this tradition with one of our bands, Euphoria Brass Band. We have the opportunity on Sunday to bring a picture of a lost one,
Yeah.
and then the band plays, and we do our own second line on the dance floor for anybody who wants to join it. Everybody's welcome.
Nice.
Bring a
Inclusive.
picture of whomever you've lost recently. So anyway, we try to maintain the tradition as best as.
Yeah, and with all that good behavior there, we're not worried about anybody losing anybody at the festival as well. So,
God, I hope not. Wow.
but speaking of the people, you have 14,000 of the people attending over those 4 days.
That's
In
right.
that number, can you tell how many of them are from out of state? Do you get that kind of demographic information? And on that note, how many of them are you getting people coming from Louisiana for this?
Oh, yeah.
Besides the crawfish truck driver, obviously.
No. It's absolutely amazing. More and more people are coming from Louisiana. I mean, they're buying an airplane ticket and staying in a hotel, and they're buying a ticket to the Gator by the Bay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, no one's more surprised by that than me, I'll tell you. Because, I mean, come on. I think that there's two festivals every weekend in southern Louisiana, all year long. There's festivals all the time. And I did talk some years ago. I invited a friend of mine who was from Lafayette. I said, "Hey, you should come to Gator by the Bay." And she said, "What do I want to go to Gator by the Bay for? I have all that stuff right here."
Yeah.
Guess what? 3 years ago, she started coming to Gator by the Bay. So and other people have said exactly the same thing. It's the joie de vivre. That's what it is. That's what
It
we
is.
have.
Yes,
We have
it's the
joie de
savoir
vivre.
faire.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to walk into the festival and not feel happy, and not feel excited, and not get excited or impressed by the music. All the different types of music we have.
Well, that's great because now that what that really does is give you that testimonial of the authenticity of your festival to real Cajun folk coming in from Louisiana all the way across country, and a little less humidity in San Diego than in the bayou as well.
Right. And in May, I mean, sometimes we get a little bit of rain, but it always clears up by mid morning. And you're right. That ocean breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it just feels good and it smells good. And
Mm-hmm.
aside from the food, just the air just
Yeah.
feels right, And you can stop and look. Oh, and of course we're right across the bay from so you see all these thousands of boats and whatnot. I mean, it's just a nice place to be. It feels good there.
Right.
And you
And
don't really hear the airplanes. I mean, we're across the street from the airport, but you don't really hear them.
yeah, oh, that's
So,
incredible.
yeah,
There's just so much more. There's so much more going on that you're into the moment. You're into all of the feels, as the kids say, there from the music to the
right.
dance to the food to the great beer going on and great wines that are happening there. So obviously, the city of San Diego has taken notice that this has had such a great economic effect that from an economic standpoint and from a cultural standpoint, that this is you're getting sponsorship from those entities within the city itself, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we are so grateful that with the encouragement and some financial contributions that we get from the San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture, they have
That's
been
great.
really, really great supporters of our. And because we're on port tidelands, that's what they call it. The tidelands around the bay are part of the San Diego, uh, the port of San Diego, and they have been very, very supportive and encouraging. And it's even more than supportive; it's encouragement. They want us to do this, so it's great.
It's incredible. And all right, then how do we get tickets to this?
Oh, well, it's actually quite easy. Go to gatorbythebay.com and there it is.
Gatorbythebay.com.
Yeah, and it's a very easy website to navigate. Um, I like to think it is anyway. But I am used to it. But everything is clearly marked, so it's easy to buy tickets. It's easy to get a hotel. It's easy to see the entire lineup. And we had spoken about the lineup earlier, and so we have well over 100 different acts over the 4 days, which
Wow.
includes music. Now, there's also we didn't talk about food tasting. We have a food demo tent in which the Louisiana chefs come in and they actually they cook a dish like a jambalaya, and then let's say there's 50 or 60 people in the seated watching all of this, then everybody gets to taste. It's great.
That's fantastic.
So,
So it's like a live demonstration. They're telling you how it's done over big speakers. Everybody's sitting there, and then they get a little
right.
flavor. Let
And
everybody
then they
gets a
get a
little
menu,
flavor. Yeah.
and then they get a printed menu if they want to take one and try it at home. Yeah,
So
it's
how many
cool.
food vendors do we have throughout this 4 day period?
Well, we have a really good variety of food. It is clearly themed for barbecue and Cajun food. I mean, primarily it is. So I'd say we have probably about 30 different food vendors,
Wow.
and that includes all kinds of tastes and all kinds of flavors. I mean, if you want, a beignet and a coffee, we have beignet. That's a small booth, but boy, I'll tell you what, the line is over to there. The line got so long, but at the beignet booth, we had to get two beignet vendors because it's so popular.
I am always in the mood for a coffee and a beignet. Look, the
Yeah,
coffee with the chicory in it from Cafe Du Monde, even though they're not a
abs-
sponsor here, but they
absolutely,
could be.
and they
Could be
and
Cafe
they
Du Monde.
should be actually. Yeah,
Yeah, they should. They should be out
I'll
there.
keep that in mind too. Let me write that down.
Yeah, and I
Cafe Du Monde.
apologize. That was not a very good Louisiana accent there, New Orleans accent. But did you happen to hear Brian Kelly do his act? He was when he addressed the LSU faithful at the basketball game when he took
No,
the
I
new
did.
job. He
And
comes
was it
out
good?
there. He
Was it
comes
good?
out there for the first night and he goes, "I'm here with my family, and we're in the great state of Louisiana." And people were like, "Did he just get Cajun accent? Like what?" I don't know, just
Yeah.
a bit of a phony, but what are you gonna do? So is there a VIP ticket that I could get? I'm sure Coach Kelly could get his own VIP ticket, but what if is there something else like just there's these great tastings, there's the food seminars, there's great drinks, there's all these great 100 different acts happening, but is there any kind of like everyone's always into that VIP thing? Do you guys offer something like that?
Oh yeah. And as a matter of fact, it's really a cool experience. So not only do you get uh, essentially what we call premium premium food service, you don't have to stand in line. We have chefs come in and create very very nice food, and it's special seating in the VIP area. We call it the patron pass, by the way.
Okay.
We
Oh,
uh
the
we try
patron
we
pass.
tried
Very
we
nice.
tried to get away from because we want to deal with patron.
Yes.
So and actually, it's nice. It's a nice thing to have. Anyway, so and not Then we also have a small stage in the patron area where we have the artists, selected artists, come in for a meet and greet. So we have three periods of time throughout the Saturday and throughout Sunday in which the artists come in and perform, and for the patrons, a little small area. It's plenty of elbow room though. We also have upscale restrooms with air conditioning and
Very nice.
all
Yes,
that
now you're
running,
talking.
and then premium wines and premium beers. And so it's just a nice respite for
Yeah.
people who like want to get away from it for a little while. And we also have satellite seating on the two big stages that is specially for the patrons, and they can sit down, and we have snacks and water, and so it's good. It's a nice deal, and to some degree, I learned this actually from Lafayette. Lafayette at Festivals Acadian in March this year um, is they have this satellite seating area for the VIPs or for the special guests, and so we implemented that as a result of going to Festivals Acadian. So it's nice. It's a really nice place to be.
So what is left besides getting online and getting a ticket? What else am I missing out on besides missing out on the festival itself? Because I have never been.
It's kind of like an experience. It's you can't do it wrong. All you have to do is lean forward and walk through the gate, and then all of a sudden, I presume, no, not presume. I promise you, you'll have a good time. If you're not having a good time, you come and see me.
Guarantee of a good time.
Guarantee.
I guarantee. I guarantee you're going to have a good time. I guarantee it. Yeah, you should have Jim Carville, the Raging Cajun himself, do that for you guys. Let's see if we can. We'll see if we can get him on the. We'll do a follow-up episode here, and we'll see if we can get him on. I think the problem with having him on the podcast, though, is that it's very hard to get a word in edgewise when he's there. So, well, look,
I love
folks.
I do love watching him at the zoo.
Yeah,
it's very entertaining.
Well, friends, look, it's 10,000 pounds of crawfish and all whatever pounds of you. Tickets are on sale now. What better gift for mom for Mother's Day? Get her out, get her down there. And does anyone call you Peter Po-Boy Oliver? Can we start calling you that? Is that a...
Well, yeah, I'll answer to most anything as long as it has music and food attached to it.
And you can dance to it.
I like that, Peter Po-Boy.
Peter Po-Boy, there he is. All right, folks. Well, the only way to meet Peter Po-Boy Oliver is to get your tickets. And once again, to get them, we go to
GatorByTheBay.com. GatorByTheBay.com. Yeah.
GatorByTheBay.com and Gator done, as they might say down there as well. Folks, this has been incredible. And also, we'd love to know, can we follow you on social media? Because we're going to have to, if we can't make it to the festival for whatever reason, we want to follow those stories on Instagram and Facebook and all that. How else can we find you besides the website?
No, well, that's it. We have a really active Twitter account. We have a very active Instagram account, and we're on Facebook as well. And we are posting, we're posting a lot these days, especially because we want to remind everybody that we're back. That's the whole thing. We're back. We're coming back, and we're coming back strong. And that's the way. We did not want to cheap shot this and do something in June like last year. We had an opportunity, and then we said, "Nah, we're not going to do it. Not going to do it." So we're coming back strong, and I would invite everybody to go look at the lineup on the Gator by the Bay page. It's stellar. Absolutely stellar. And we have such a great variety of music you can't believe. And we will be posting, oh, by the way, and tickets are on sale at the lowest price now. And so, yeah, it's a pretty deep discount from the gate price. So I would encourage anybody who's listening, get online now. If they want a ticket, get online now because they're going to get the best deal.
Early bird gets the worm and the deal.
That's right. Early bird gets the deal. That's it.
Love it. Well, it's authentic. They're coming in from Louisiana to San Diego for more authentic Cajun style stuff here from Gator by the Bay. Folks, this has been great. Peter, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for telling us more about this. Get online, gatorbythebay.com. Get those tickets, and we will see you all there, and we'll see you next time on Festival Pass Stories. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Thanks, Pat. Bye-bye.
This is Festival Pass Stories, a podcast series as told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next.